So why don't we get started with your perspective as a mentor with the Mentor City program?
Well, I mean, first off, I was so thrilled that, we were able to launch this and thrilled to be a part of it. As a chapter president, like you, Esther, I constantly, was getting questions. Probably the number one was, now I'm certified, what do I do? And close to that is, helping to get a job. Those were really top two. And, how do I utilize AAPC to the fullest? Like, there's so much out there. And how do I really use it to really help me in my career and in my development and education? So I was so thrilled to be a part of it. And as a mentor, for me, it's been a very positive experience. I've had 7 connections since we started. A couple of them, they reached out, we had an initial conversation, and I was like, I'm probably not the best person for you. One was an RN who wanted to be a neurological coder, not me. I was like, yeah, probably not the best one. So it's nice that there's that flexibility as well, where, we can have that conversation and I can say, we're probably not the best match, and, they can go somewhere else. And then the other connections that I've had were mostly related to career. And I had one that just had an upcoming interview. She was an apprentice CPCA, with the apprentice, and was just breaking into the role and wanted some guidance on, on the interview process. And that was the only time she and I chatted. And then all the way to one, she and I have been connected for over a year, and she occasionally reaches out to me probably once a month. It was also initially related to her career, and we do continuous, conversations on, interviewing different organizations, what direction should I take, all those things. So I have felt it's been very positive. I personally haven't, had a mentee that was difficult, or, everyone I've had has been so appreciative that they can have the connection. And I've, felt they've been open to the honest communication. And I do that as well too. I check, I double check with them, like, are you wanting honest, feedback, to just kind of establish that relationship. So for me, it's been great. It's been great to make those connections, and I love helping people to get better at what they do.
Vanessa, I have a quick question for you. Sorry to interrupt, but you said you've had up to 7 people that you're mentoring at a time. That seems like a lot. Is that a lot for you to juggle, or is it, I don't know, just kind of tell us about what that experience is like to have 7 people that you're helping out.
Well, I didn't have them all at once. The most I've had at once was 4. And I would have to say that was, especially in the beginning when they first connected, I was like, whoa, but when those 4 came on, actually out of those 4, I only ended up, had the one conversation, the one, we ended up, not having another conversation. And then the other 2 were a little bit more prolonged. So, it wasn't ever 7 at one time. So, I would say if any of those were going to be long-term, probably the most I could do is 2, maybe 3, depending on how much, attention that they need, some, and I was, because I do have a full schedule, I have other things that I do. I was pretty, honest up front, like, this is my availability. This is, what I can offer you, so I was pretty upfront about that. And yeah, so that's how I juggled it. I think you're muted.
There, oh, my turn to be on mute. All right. So we have Shay in the comments saying, sounds exciting. I completed the CPC program and was certified September of 2020, so last fall. And she says, struggling with finding a job and getting started with a career change. Mm-hmm. How can a mentor help with that?
Well, I actually, years ago, when I was the chapter president, I actually developed a, guidelines, that, kind of like just a handout that I could give to people, a document, that has for this very question of, I just got certified, now what do I do to find a job? So with just kind of the top, 10 questions, I guess like an FAQ. So that if I were to be, you know, matched with that particular person, we would go over that document and kind of those top 10, what have you done, you know, so far, what are your goals, you know, those kinds of things. So usually in my experience, even before Mentor City, when I would help people with this, usually the questions are answered within those first 10. Like they have at least 2 or 3 action items they can take and, you know, and move on and be successful in finding a position. So there's hope for everybody.